right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time we are going to celebrate some serious music history here tonight. Modesto, California. What was born here in 1938? Rockabilly. Rockabilly music was born in Modesto, 1938. Back in the 50s, 1958, Kent Witt and the Downbeats start playing rock and roll. Modesto High School bands, Davis High School bands. Kent Witt and the Downbeats inspired a young musician named Michael Alsop, who went off to form Three Dog Night. It was so cool because Michael Alsop was here last year celebrating Kent Witt and the Downbeats. And now we go from the 30s to the 50s to the 60s, where we're going to celebrate the summer of love, the birth of rock and roll, and we are going to have a great time here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce our good friend, Mr. Ken Riddick, the publisher of the Modesto Bee, to talk about the Ratz.
Wow. Look at y'all. Wow, what an amazing crowd. What an amazing event. So first off, I want to take a minute and just thank Chris Murphy, the great proselytizer of Modesto music and the Modesto local music scene, for his unswerving support for Modesto's remarkable and unique music and music history. He is loyal as a tick to that legacy, and we're all proud to have him, and we should all say thank you very much for... And a big thank you to you guys, because local music is nothing without local audiences, and it's really important. So keep coming. Thank you for coming tonight. So Keith Richards once said, good music comes out of people playing together, knowing what they want to do, and just going for it. You have to sweat over it. You have to bug it to death. Well, the musicians you've seen tonight and will continue to see are clearly sweating over it. So let's give them a big thank you for all they're doing. So a couple of years ago, there was a story in the Bee about the Ratz and an upcoming reunion. And it noted that back in the 60s, a group of rebellious Modesto teenagers formed... Say again? Is this better? A group of rebellious Modesto teenagers formed that outrageous cover band, the Ratz. They wore their hair long in defiance of community standards. They sported two-tone velour pants with each leg a different color. They were even banned from Modesto High School, where Patrick Durr, the guitarist, later taught. In 1967, they broke up. Durr said of the Ratz reunion at that time, "We consider this historical. Who knows if we're ever going to have the chance to play together again." Well, thankfully, they have come back together tonight to be honored and to play for you. I'd like to bring up Michael Ling, a longtime friend, and a band of the band is here to help them to celebrate. Welcome, Michael Ling.
Michael Ling.
Timing is everything.
Oh my gosh. The Ratz. As he was saying, I want you to close your eyes and picture four guys with elephant bell bottoms, huge bell bottoms. One leg yellow, one blue, or green and orange, just outrageous colors, big brass zipper down the middle, sewn lovingly by the drummer's mother. And just outrageous clothes, outrageous fun to see on stage. They were just flat out outrageous. They had the longest hair of anybody in this town at that time, possibly the entire valley in the 65, 66. Ray Rector, the drummer's hair in particular, was legendary. Got them banned from some high schools for a couple of years. I went to Downey High School, graduated 67, and in my junior year, we tried hard to get the Ratz to play at a dance at our school, and the activities director said no. He said no, they're too to what's the word I'm looking for? Trouble. They're just trouble. They'll just be a bad influence. And it was fun. They were great. The Ratz were outrageous. Whether it was the first version of the band with Ray Rector, Mike Thorington, Paul Stewart, and Gary Grubb Duncan, who went on to Quicksilver Messenger Service, or the second edition of the group with Ray Rector, Danny Johnson, Rick Edmond, and Pat Durer, the Ratz were always outrageous in their costuming, stage performance, and in their music. Ray's brother, Tom Rector, was the manager for both versions and booked them into venues and concerts that advanced the stature of the band. A few musicians also performed briefly with the Ratz and added spice to the mix, including guitarist Mike Durr and singer Peggy May. In the turmoil that was the 60s, the outrageous Ratz caused visual and musical controversy that got them banned in certain venues and hired in others. The Ratz became the band other Valley groups and Bay Area groups tried to emulate. The first version of the Ratz performed in shows with the Rolling Stones, Chad and Jeremy, the Byrds, and other famous names of that era. A particularly memorable show for the second Ratz group was when they played at the legendary Strand Theatre with an Irish band called Them with lead singer Van Morrison. I was in the audience for that show. That was amazing. When the Ratz shared the stage with a band called the Gollywogs, no one predicted that that group would become Creedence Clearwater Revival. When the Ratz performed with the Hondells, that group entered the stage riding Honda 50 motorcycles, but it was the Ratz who stole the show. The Ratz shows in Merced always sold out. At first they were a supporting act, then soon top billed. 50 years ago, in September of 1965, the Ratz opened a Modesto 10th Street teenage nightclub, the Purple Turnip. Yeah, you're too young to remember that, I know. And they again stole the show from the featured act, the Premiers. The performance schedule was hectic all over the Bay Area, Monterey Peninsula, Lake Tahoe, up and down the valley. I want to share with you, when I was at Downey High School, the YMCA dances of the YMCA out of McHenry were a big deal. And the Ratz played there a lot. And this was in the days before Twitter. There was no text messaging, no Facebook. It was just going from class to class, going to the locker to get your textbooks for the next class, and the buzz would start going up and down the hall, just word of mouth. There's a Ratz dance at the Y tomorrow night. There's a Ratz dance at the Y. Ratz dance at the Y was one word. And the minute that I heard that, I went, oh, tomorrow night? Tonight? I'm there. This is an especially important and historic event for the Ratz. The Lifetime Achievement M.A.M.A. Award has caused a very special reunion. This evening marks the first time that members of both editions of the Ratz have been on stage together. In fact, due to this recognition, some members of Ratz 1 and Ratz 2 have met for the first time and shared Ratz memories. Thank you very much to the M.A.M.A. organization for creating this opportunity. Another historical footnote is that Patrick Durr is receiving his second Lifetime Achievement Award for his music with both Homegrown and the Ratz. The first time I got to know Patrick, about 1966, I was playing in a band, lesser known to say the least, called the Ice Age. And it feels like the Ice Age by now. That was a long time ago. And I remember him coming down the street where I was rehearsing in a garage, as we all did, and talking about music. And somebody commented that they had talked to somebody that didn't like the Ratz. And I was just stunned. How could somebody not like the Ratz? And Patrick said something 50 years ago that I've never forgotten. He said, as long as we get a reaction from people, positive or negative, as long as we get a reaction, that's what matters. You know, I don't want them to just be sitting on the fence going, ho home, you know. As long as we get a reception, as long as they notice what we're doing, we've got their attention. It is interesting to note that all the members of the Ratz are still involved in writing, recording, and performing music. The musicians in this audience know that the unique and special bond that develops when people create music together is really unique. The friendships that still exist among the Ratz is testimony to the power of the music for the Ratz. It feels like yesterday because the music continues today. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the recipients of the M.A.M.A. Lifetime Achievement Award for 2015, the Ratz.